How should men dress? Blaze reporter O.W. Root argues that while men should care about their appearances and clothing, they should also dress for the work that they're doing. So he joins us now to discuss. So O.W., give us your quick thesis on men's fashion.
Men's style is something that it often gets swept under the rug. You know, people think it doesn't matter, especially guys. They think it doesn't matter. They're told they're not really supposed to care about how they dress. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really impact their day-to-day life, but it really does. It impacts our psychology. It impacts the way we approach the world, and obviously the way we are in the world. You know, a lot of people complain about the sort of degeneration in terms of architecture, but we can't really change that often, some of us, unless we're architects. But with our clothing, we can. And so there's no reason to dress poorly.
Tell us about what you say in this article in terms of living to dress rather than dressing to live. Explain that.
You know, this is so hard, and I get why guys have a hard time with this, because they start to care about their clothes. They say, I want to look decent. And they spend $100 on a shirt and they don't want to hurt it. And it's such a slippery slope where you can end up being a mannequin, being like a doll, essentially neutering yourself, essentially becoming a man, not of action, but just someone standing there. And what it means to live in your clothes is to put your clothes on in the morning and forget about them. Put them on and then just live your life. It doesn't matter if you get stains or rips or tears or anything. You can fix those things. You can. That's why we have a soap. And so we must not become mannequins. We must not be dolls. We must look good, but forget it once you dress yourself in the morning and go about your life naturally.
So everybody likes to talk about the movements or the trends that are going on. So are there any trends that go and kind of coincide with dressing to live?
You know, actually, it's kind of interesting. We are seeing some guys moving away from the skinny fit, the super tight fitting, slim fit stuff, and moving more into the sort of roomier fit, the traditional fit. A lot of the new J. Crew stuff actually is kind of moving back toward their more traditional approach. And this is a real welcome development, because skinny fit and the whole, the ultra undersized suit trend that was so popular for a while, that's a perfect example of not being able to even move in your clothes. You can't even, you're just like this, just walking around like a doll. And so the movement towards or away from skinny fit, even if it's brief, that is really something that facilitates living more naturally in your clothes.
Yeah, can you talk about that, the difference between sort of quality clothing and then, paying exorbitant amounts of money for something that's essentially a piece of plastic with a brand on it?
Yeah, exactly. In American style, in Ivy style, in preppy style, we love the Oxford shirt. And the Oxford shirt, you can buy an Oxford shirt for, honestly, on eBay, you can buy one for $50, $40, and they'll last a decade. And it will actually look better the more beat up it gets. That's the beautiful thing about it. Nobody likes a brand new Oxford shirt. You like one that's a decade old, that has some fraying around the collar and around the cuff. And that's something that lasts. That's something that lives with you. That's something that you carry with you in your life. That's different than spending $300 on some synthetic athleisure garbage that if you disturb it at all, if you rip it at all, it looks awful. It's a totally different mindset.
Now, we might be hitting a hot button issue here, so warning out there for people. You recently wrote an article saying that Crocs proved that Idiocracy was a documentary. So what do you have to say to all of the Croc lovers out there?
To all the Croc lovers, I'm sorry. I know the truth is painful, but someone has to say it. And I mean, Crocs, as I said in the article, if you went back in time and showed your grandfather, hey, check these out. What do you think about these? I'd say, these are disgusting. These are awful. These are ugly. They're terrible. And then if you told him, guess what? People wear them a lot in public. I think he might say, I think you're joking with me. You're lying, right? I mean, they are a move away from, they're a move towards androgynous slop. They're a move toward the primordial stew. If the heel for women is this alluring shoe, or if the loafer for men is this shoe of dignity in natural materials, Crocs are just amorphous slop. I'm sorry to say it, but there are so many better shoes. And if they say they're comfortable, listen, I really go on about comfort fetish a lot because we're obsessed with being comfortable. But a worn-in boat shoe that is a decade old is
Yes.
more comfortable than any Croc. Anybody who knows, knows.
This is you're speaking the truth, the hard truths to the people. You should know the whole point of a line, right, is to ask these questions and to get back to how we should live and what we should wear. And these questions are important. So, now you have to solve the world's problems with a minute left. How do we get out of this? How do we start making better choices?
We need to realize that it's not just about the material. It's not just about this thin material here. It's more. Our clothes say something about our culture, say something about who we are. They say something to ourselves about ourselves. When we dress in a way that makes us feel strong, we approach the world in a way that is more strong. If you dress like a clown, you feel like a clown. And that's a lot of the sort of dark and gloomy sort of attitude these days, I think is related to not realizing that there's a deeper purpose for clothing. And it's supposed to help us. It's supposed to make us feel better, not worse. And so when I rip on Crocs, it's not to be cruel to the Croc lovers. It's to say that you can actually feel better about yourself.
O.W. Root, that might be my favorite 2-minute segment when you ripped on Crocs. So thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot.
Peterson, do you own Crocs?
No, I do not. I'm an adult.
Oh, okay.
No,
but is it
I'm
okay
sorry.
for the children?
Sorry. I think that there's probably Crocs at our house for maybe some of the kids. I don't know. I mean, what they're sloppy with are those same material kind of sandals, right?
Okay.
They'll put those on. But I mean, I know people can laugh and say these things are arbitrary, et cetera, but I think we're at a time where we do want to think more seriously about how we relate to products and services in order to live a better life. Because you can't trust what everyone else has been telling you this entire time, because you see the problem with the culture and the problem with the people who run these corporations. It's turning us, down a bad path. So, it's funny, but it's also, there's some serious aspect to this. How should you dress?
Yeah.
I mean, when you dress, it's in respect to other people around you, right?
Well, it
There's a lot
goes
of
back
questions.
to the processed foods, the dressing. Everything
Yeah.
goes into taking care of yourself, getting your appearance right, getting what you eat right. Everything just builds upon itself and just taking care and taking pride in what you have.
Yeah, I think in the past you could just say, I'll go along with whatever the trend is, it doesn't matter. But now we live in a time where the trends are bad, so we have to rethink all this stuff, unfortunately, and we're here to help you do that.